Welcome back. Today I want to talk about the Paravastha of Kriya. And that is a Sanskrit term for the after-effect poise of meditation. So what does that mean? Why is it important? What exactly is that? And what is its purpose? That's the most important part. What is it supposed to be doing for us? So let's talk about I think it's very important. Let's talk about that. So this term was not well known within the Kriya community for a very long time, at least within the circle that I started with. You didn't hear this term at all. It was never mentioned. And largely through the influence, I think, of the Yoga Niketan website, this term became very well known within the Kriya circles. And I'm so happy for that. I think it's fantastic. And so you hear this term again and again, the after-effect poise of Kriya. And it's very important. And so to wrap our minds around it, you got to think that we are beginning with the Kriya Yoga, right? Or we're beginning with heart rate variability breathing, resonant breathing, and with Om Japa in the chakras, right? We're beginning with that. We're beginning with this deep meditation. That resonance is going to sink you right down. The body is going to become calm. That's going to affect the mind. The mind is going to become calm. Everything becomes calm. And you get this beautiful, reflexive thing going on. If you've ever been in a hallway of mirrors, right, and you see yourself, and you see yourself, and you see yourself seeing yourself, that's what happens between the mind and the body as you sink into that deep state. They start to mirror back and forth that calmness. And so you just kind of go right down into this beautifully deep state. And so you finish your Kriya, you finish your heart rate variability, you finish your Om Japa, and then what do I do, Forrest? Well, that's the after-effect poise question. That's what that is answering. What do you do after that? And that's why it's so important. So you think, okay, I've got my Kriya, I've got my heart rate variability, resonant breathing, I've got my Om Japa, and then I have my after-effect poise. And it's very important that we put that into our practice, whether it's a minute or 2 minutes or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 or 20 minutes. We got to have that in there. Just a little bit to a lot, it's fine. But it always needs to be there in our meditative practice. We got to work with the Kriya and the heart rate variability, and then we want to enjoy the fruits of our work. And that's what the poise state is all about. So what are some after-effect poise states? Let's make a list so that we know that if we experience any of those, we are in effect in the after-effect poise state. We're soaking that into ourselves. Whatever we get at the end of our meditation, we want to take that beautiful thing that we got and we want to soak it into ourselves. Soak it into our minds, our hearts, our bones. Just really own it. And so let's say we have the 4 proofs. Let's say we don't get anything but just hands hot and heavy. Well, that's a beautiful thing. It's a galvanic skin response, and it's telling us, hey, you're in the parasympathetic nervous system. Congratulations, you're doing it. You are going deep in meditation. It's a beautiful, beautiful sign. That's why it's so important. Let's say you get the 2nd proof and your lip tingles. Fantastic. Your heart rate is going down and the blood is receding from your lip. That's a good sign because we know that Kriya lowers your heart rate. We know that heart rate variability, resonant breathing, lowers the heart rate. It's putting us in a low idle state. Let's say we get the 3rd proof and we feel a pressure between the heart and the spine. That's the dorsal vagal nerve. We feel a pressure, kind of a joyful, expectant pressure, a tingling perhaps. Any of that is the awakening of the dorsal vagal complex And it's this beautiful, beautiful thing. And it can feel, oh my God, this feels so good. I don't know what to do with myself. And you're actually experiencing bliss when you feel that way. That's another one. Bliss, joy, anything like that. Any kind of joy or tingling, that's the fourth proof, right? Tingling in the body, this joyful tingling, any of that is a after-effect poised state when we sit with it and just feel it and soak it into ourselves, right? Calm, peace, just a vast calmness may come over us. Just a little bit of silence may come over us. Oh my God, I'm just feel good and calm. That's an after effect poised state. And so you just sit with that for a little bit and feel it. Let's say you've been practicing heart rate variability and you've been practicing the blood pressure variability as I teach in the fourth phase of breath, and you sink down into the tranquil breath, which is something that Lahiri Baba asked us to do. Enjoy the tranquil breath. And when you get in that state, he said, stop the Kriya. Just enjoy that. So you're switching from work in Kriya or heart rate variability resonance into, okay, great, now enjoy what you have. Soak it in. Let the body feel it. Let the psychology feel it. And that will transform you over time. And we're becoming more and more comfortable with these states so that when we come to them again and again, we surrender more deeply. We feel at home with them. Another state that is coming to many students, I'm writing on Patreon and I'm talking about the freeze response, and so many students are telling me about their success with the freeze response. And it's just blowing my mind how much success people are getting, how quickly. And I love it. Every time I see it, I think, oh my God, that took me so long to get and to recognize it and to come back to it again and again. And they're just doing it. It's just amazing. So the freeze response itself is an after effect poise state, right? We did the work, we got the freeze. That's an after effect state that you can sit there and just enjoy and let it soak into you. And so when you're doing that, you're approximating this hallway of mirrors, and there's this reflexive quality between you and the brain, between you and your psychology. And so you're coming at home with these states. So when you step back into meditation, everything just piles up that much more quickly because you're at home with it. So it's a really, really beautiful process. We have calm, we have peace, we have joy, we have bliss, we have the four proofs, we have tranquil breath, we have the freeze response. All of these, or love, or what, gratefulness, gratitude, maybe an expansive feeling, maybe the divine, maybe you feel the divine presence as a second presence, or maybe you feel yourself expanding. All of these fit within this second category of the after effect poise state of Kriya. So you just enjoy those. You just soak them in. Just suck them into yourself just beautifully. Imagine that you're a potato sitting in the pot of that joy and just soak it right up. And the purpose, here it is, the purpose of all of this is it's a setup from the chakra war of the Bhagavad Gita. We finished that work, and then now we're going up the mountain. The roll-up, by the way, that I mentioned in the Big Bliss training is another after effect poise state beautifully. So all of those, they're getting us ready for absorption and samadhi. And so that's why that second phase of the Kriya program, of the heart rate variability resonant program, of any meditative program is so important. Because we have to understand there's work and then there's enjoy. There's do and then there's be. And we have to have that be phase in order to work ourselves into absorption and samadhi. And that's the real purpose. That's why Lahiri Baba mentioned to his students again and again, hey, you got to take a little time to enjoy what you're doing. That's why it's so important, because it's a setup for you to get into absorption and samadhi. That's the direction it's pointing you. It's like, okay, you did the work and you finished it. You finished it out. And eventually you're going to finish that work out. And then you're going to be ready for this next phase, which is absorption and samadhi. All right? That's what it's all for. That's what the after-effect-poise state is all about. I don't think a lot of people mention that, and I think it's extremely important. So, I hope you love this. I hope it makes a lot of sense and it resonates with you. You can take it home, plug that into your practice. Maybe you're already doing it, but maybe it will heighten the expectancy and it'll heighten the importance of it for you. And so that will make it deeper just by changing your attitude towards it. So I hope you love this. If you did, be sure to hit that bell down below so I can see all of you next time.